Hello everyone, welcome you all to the second test of Polity and Economy. As just a little reminder, in this particular brain teaser season or session, we will be discussing all previous year's questions of UPSC from examination point of view. This will help you come to answer, how to eliminate the answer, and basically you will get an idea about various important concepts that we will be discussing over here. These are basically all previous year's question papers. I just request you all to go through these questions and also share with all your friends for going through these questions. So today we will be discussing test number 2. We will be discussing every important question from last 25 years in next 1 month. So let's start with the second test. First question. Now here another important request to all of you is there. What happens, I read the question and then again I read the question. So what you all go for, just pause the video, read the question on your own, and then I will be reading the question and I will be simultaneously solving the question. This will help we to save our time and also it will make video in a very shorter time period. So whenever question prompts in front of you, just pause the video and read question and try to write your own answer. So let's start with it. First question. The Constitution 73rd Amendment Act of 1992, which aims at promoting the Panchayat Raj institutions in the country, provides for which of the following? So this is question basically about 73rd Amendment Act. Constitution of District Planning Committee. Now see, first thing, whenever I teach in class, I tell you that there are two important amendment acts are there. One is 73rd Amendment Act, second is 74th Amendment Act. So 73rd Amendment Act is about rural local government. 74th Amendment Act is about urban local government. So there is always a confusion about these two amendment act. It happens that State Finance Commission, State Election Commission, they work for state, rural and urban local government election. But we have this particular confusion. Many times we feel that there could be a separate State Finance Commission for urban local government and rural local government, and there could be a separate election commission for urban and rural local government. So this is not the case. That's why this thing, 73rd Amendment Act has created a common finance commission and election commission for both rural and urban local government. Then we might have many times we have this confusion that there is a district planning committee for rural areas, that is rural local government, and there is metropolitan planning committee for urban local government. Then we feel that this rural is through 73rd and metropolitan is through 74th. So this is basic confusion that you have to keep in mind. This district planning committee is not constituted under 73rd Amendment Act. It is constituted under 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So this you have to keep in mind. So that this is the reason why first statement is wrong. If first is wrong, this option is gone, this second option is gone, and this is also gone. So ultimately your answer comes, that is our answer is 2 and 3. So keep it in mind, few important bits, and this is the exception that you have to keep in mind. Here remember, for district planning committee, important article is 243ZD, and for metropolitan planning committee, important article is 243ZE. How to remember? Here D stands for district planning committee. Then what remains? E, it stands for metropolitan planning committee. Clear? So correct answer is C. Here an additional information for State Election Commission, important article is article 243K. Remember, for State Election Commission, important article is article 243 capital K, whereas for State Finance Commission, important article is article 243 capital I. Remember this thing, right? All these exceptions you have to keep in mind. Now coming to second question. The authorization for the withdrawal of funds from the Consolidated Fund of India must come from the President of India, the Parliament of India, the Prime Minister of India, or the Union Finance Minister. See, whenever you read the thing, one thing should be very, very clear to you, and that thing is that, or that statement is, Parliament is custodian of public funds. So here correct answer is Parliament of India. not President of India, not Prime Minister of India. It means whenever you want to withdraw fund out of consolidated fund of India, you need permission of Parliament of India. It means you need parliamentary law. This is very, very basic thing. You need a parliamentary law, right? This is first important aspect. One important bit from this examination point of view, Article 266, it talks about consolidated fund of India as well as public account of India, whereas Article 267, it talks about contingency fund of India. So remember these things. Article 266, it talks about consolidated fund of India and public account of India, whereas Article 267, it talks about contingency fund of India. These are the two important basic information you have to keep in mind. So second question, correct answer is Parliament of India. Here one additional information is there. Whenever we are spending money out of consolidated fund of India, just for information sake, this money is spent out of consolidated fund of India is of two type. One is expenditure charged upon consolidated fund of India, whereas second is expenditure made from consolidated fund of India. So what is basic thing? Expenditure charged upon consolidated fund of India is not voted in the parliament, is not voted. It is passed as it is given. It is only discussed, right? Why? Because this expense is very, very important to maintain independence of some of the few important constitutional institutions. So remember, expenditure charged upon consolidated fund of India is not voted in the parliament, it is only discussed, whereas expenditure made from consolidated fund of India is voted in the parliament as well as it is discussed in the parliament. This expenditure charged upon consolidated fund of India, it involves expenses of judiciary, then expenses of president and all other important institutions. So from our question point of view, here remember, to get permission for withdrawing fund from consolidated fund of India, you need permission of Parliament of India. It means you need parliamentary law, and these two important article 266, which stands for consolidated fund and public account, and 267, which stands for contingency fund of India. Then going for third question, very, very important. All revenues received by the union government by way of taxes and other receipt for the conduct of government business are credited to the contingency fund, public account, consolidated fund of India, or deposits and advances. What is the answer? I want answer. The correct answer is consolidated fund of India. Just for information sake, I will tell you what all component of consolidated fund of India. Here remember, consolidated fund of India, it is mentioned in Article 266 of the Indian Constitution, and what all components are there. All revenue received by government of India is first component, then all loans that are raised by government of India is second component, then all recovered loan by central government is part of consolidated fund of India, and fourthly, profits that are made by public sector undertakings or public sector enterprises is part of consolidated fund of India. So this is the basic. Remember this point, only these 4 points are very, very important. All taxes, all revenues that are being received by government of India is part of the consolidated fund of India, and it is given in Article 266(1). Then second is about public account of India. What are the components of public account? So basically remember, public account is also given in Article 266. So what all are the components of public account of India? First, it is provident fund deposit. Then second, it is judicial deposits. Then third, it is money received out of bonds. Then money received out of various rates and fines. Then it is saving bank deposits, right? So all these are parts of the public account of India. Now here one important information: to spend money out of consolidated fund of India, you need permission of parliament. It means you need parliamentary law, right? Whereas to spend money out of public account of India, this can be spent through executive action. That is, you can spend this money out of executive action, that is by the permission of the ministers you can spend this money. Clear? So this is public account of India and consolidated fund of India. Third important fund is, just for your information sake, is a contingency fund of India. Now this contingency fund of India is being established under Contingency Fund of India Act. To spend money out of Contingency Fund of India, you need permission of President of India, and most importantly, on behalf of President of India, it is Finance Secretary of the Government of India who made the signature to spend money out of Contingency Fund of India. Clear? So this will clear your question, your answer for any question that is coming in your way. When annual union budget is not passed by Lok Sabha, it means a budget is being presented to the Lok Sabha voting, then what happens? So first point, the budget is modified and presented again. The budget is referred to Rajya Sabha for suggestion. Basically here remember, Rajya Sabha has least power over the budget, so second option is gone. Third, Union Finance Minister is asked to resign. See, in case of India, we have collective responsibility, so a single minister is never asked to resign. If a resignation is asked, it is asked for all Council of Ministers. So third option is also wrong. The Prime Minister submits the resignation to the Council of Ministers. It is very true. Why? We have collective responsibility, and getting a budget passed is also a part of ensuring your confidence of the Lok Sabha in your functioning. So Prime Minister must resign. So finally answer is Prime Minister submits the resignation to the Council of Ministers, to the President on behalf of entire Council of Ministers. So fourth option is the correct. Clear? C. Budget is a money bill. Budget is given in Article 112 of the Indian Constitution. But the most important thing, word budget is not used anywhere in the Constitution, and article for money bill is 110. Money bill is given in Article 110 of the Indian Constitution. Clear? Then fifth question is, under the Constitution of India, which one of the following is not a fundamental duty? Now those who are preparing for UPSC or those who are preparing for civil services, they must keep in mind, every time these kinds of questions are being asked, and the questions are being asked on the fundamental duties, about which among the following is not a fundamental duties. So here remember, in this particular case, to vote in public election is not a fundamental duty. All others are fundamental duties. That is, to develop the scientific temper, to safeguard public property, to abide by the Constitution, respect its ideals. So all these are fundamental duties. Only to vote in public elections is not your fundamental duty. Clear? This is for fifth question. Some important information about fundamental duties. First point, remember, fundamental duties are not part of original Constitution. They are added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. This Amendment Act added almost 10 fundamental duties. Then we again made another Amendment Act, that is 86th Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 2002. This Amendment Act has added one additional fundamental duty. It means right now we have 11 fundamental duties. Fundamental duties are added into the Indian Constitution based on the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee. Remember the name of the committee. And most important last point is, fundamental duties are non-justiciable part of the Indian Constitution. Non-justiciable part of the Indian Constitution. Here you have to keep in mind one important data, one important fact is that, or which kind of questions are being asked on fundamental duties. Most of the questions that are being asked on the fundamental duties, or which among the following is not a fundamental duty, is the basic type of question. Clear? Now next question. Sixth question. With reference to the Finance Commission of India, which of the following statement is correct? It encourages the inflow of foreign capital for infrastructure development. See, Finance Commission is a balancing wheel of fiscal federalism. It has nothing to do with inflow of foreign capital for infrastructure. First statement is absolutely wrong. It facilitates the proper distribution of finances among the public sector undertaking. See, it is concerned with center and state. It is not concerned with the public sector undertaking. So second option is also wrong. It ensures transparency in financial administration. So it is the duty of CVC, that is Central Vigilance Commission, to ensure transparency in all kinds of administration including financial administration. This Finance Commission has nothing to do with transparency in financial administration. So third option is wrong. So it goes to D option. None of the statement given above, that is A, B, C above are correct in this context. So this is the correct answer, D. Here just one additional information that I want to give you. One important bit that we have to keep in mind: when Finance Commission suggests the devolution of finances between center and state, right? How much finances should be given to center, how much finances should be given to state, it is called as vertical devolution, right? It is called as vertical devolution. Whereas when Finance Commission recommends the distribution of revenue between various states it is called as horizontal devolution, right? Keep this thing in mind, horizontal devolution. Important bit from examination point of view: Finance Commission is mentioned in Article 280 of the Indian Constitution. It is called as balancing wheel of fiscal federalism, most importantly, right? So this is the sixth question. Then seventh question: consider the following statements. In India, a metropolitan planning committee is constituted under the provisions of the Constitution. We know it is a correct statement. Metropolitan Planning Committee is being constituted under Article 243ZE. So first statement is correct. So all the places and what is being asked, which of the statement given above is are correct. So in this way, if first statement is correct, we have to choose that option. So second option is automatically gone. Now it prepares the draft development plan for metropolitan area. Second statement is also correct. So 2 only gone, 1 and 3 also gone, 1 and 2. So this option or this option remains. Has the sole responsibility for implementing government sponsored schemes in the metropolitan area. Now whenever the words like only, sole, these words come, you have to keep in mind there are something messy is there. So here remember, if the responsibility or complete responsibility lies only in the hands of metropolitan committee, then it is wrong thing. We know that in case of a particular metropolitan area, schemes are implemented by many institutions. In public administration, one word is there, plethora of agencies are there which are responsible for implementation of these things, which lead to multiplicity, which lead to overlapping of all these things. So third statement is wrong. If it goes, this option is gone. Correct answer is 1 and 2. Here whenever the word like sole, only, it is the only thing, like these words come, you have to keep in mind that some kind of trick is given which could lead to changing your answer. Clear? This is seventh question. Then and also many other agencies are there which are also called as parastatal agencies. I will recommend you just go for these kinds of parastatal agencies, like Delhi Development Authority is there. In case of Maharashtra, MMRDA, PMRDA, all these kinds of institutions are there which are responsible for implementing various government scheme in the region. Now next question: what is the difference between vote on account and interim budget? Now see, those who have studied budget very well, they must be knowing this thing, what is meaning of vote on account and interim budget. The provisions of vote on account is used by regular government, while interim budget is a provision used by caretaker government. Now see, vote on account is passed to get permission for spending money before passing of the appropriation bill as well as finance bill. And interim budget is not necessarily passed by caretaker government only. Even regular government can also pass this kind of interim budget. So first statement is wrong. The first is gone, 1 only gone, and both 1 and 2 are gone. A vote on account only deals with expenditure in government's budget, while interim budget includes both expenditure as well as receipt. So second option is correct, right? So this is the reason why correct option is 2. Clear? This is gone. Ninth question: India has experienced persistent high food inflation in recent past. What could be the reasons? Due to gradual switch over to cultivation of commercial crops, area under cultivation of food grain has steadily decreased, and last 5 years about 30%. Now see, what could be the wrong thing in this case? See, yes, it is true that we have switched to cultivation of commercial crop, but only switching to commercial crop could not be the sole reason for inflation. And here they are saying that the amount of area under food grain has reduced by almost 30%. This is in last 5 years. This is somewhat unimaginable figure. We feel that this could not happen in this small amount of time. So first statement is gone. You have to use your logic. These kinds of statements you will not get in any book, you will not get this thing in any newspaper. You have to just use your logic, and you have to think about, is it possible to reduce 30% of area under food grain? If we reduce 30% of area under food grain, definitely it is going to affect your inflation, but it won't be the case that we have reduced the area by 30%. If first statement is gone, this option is gone, this is gone, this is gone, your answer is 2 and 3. Let's go for the answer. As a consequence of increase in income, the consumption pattern of people have undergone a significant change. This is true thing, and the food supply chain has structural constraint. It is our perennial problem, it is our permanent problem. So third option is correct. So in this way, correct answer is 2 and 3. See, in case of UPSC prelims, almost 60% questions are not straightforward question. In this 60% question, you have to use your logic, which is the key to clear UPSC prelims examination. The next question is 10th question. In terms of economy, the visit by foreign nationals to witness the 19th Commonwealth Games in India amounted to export, import, production, consumption. See, this was a very interesting question. Now let's go into it. Why this question was being asked? Now correct answer is export. Now we are exporting the thing. How? See, first thing, let us say we are arranging Commonwealth Games in India. Now to watch these Commonwealth Games, many foreigners will be coming in India. Now when they will be coming in India, one thing, these foreigners do not have rupee, they have dollars in their hand. Now when they will come in India with dollar, first thing you have to keep in mind, in India only rupee is the legal tender, and dollar is not the legal tender. It means what they will have to do, they will have to come in India, they will have to convert these dollars into rupee, and then they can watch these games by purchasing the ticket, by purchasing the popcorn, by purchasing the Coca-Cola and all other things. It means they are spending money, or they are purchasing Indian goods with their dollar. So when they are purchasing Indian goods and services with their dollar, it is called as export of goods and services. Why? We are earning foreign dollar. This is the reason why in terms of economy, the visit by the foreign nationals to witness the 19th Commonwealth Games in India, it amounted to export of goods and services. Clear? I hope you are liking the lecture. Thank you very much. We will be taking 10 questions every day, so that you will get more and more tests. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.